Hey, people. Did Noah have a Nazi flag hanging on his ship? Yes, he did. Changed my mind. I ended that last movie, I believe, with this birth of Noah's three sons at the end of chapter 5. It gives the list from Adam to Shem here. And then it stops and it tells a story about Noah. And so, way back in the day, people used their family Bible to write the dates of all the births and deaths in it. And that was the Bible, the book of dates. And that's why in the Hebrew, this is the book of genealogy, is for to wield it. And they write down everybody's name and what property, the property dimensions, what's in the will. It was all put in the Bible. And in the Greek, it's of the Bible as gives. The N, coming before the E becomes a bet, a B or a V. In the Bible as gives whose, on thereupon, what you got. And so it was all, a Bible was a family book that had the great-great-great-grandfather's plot, and all the dealings was written. The Bible was all the dealings that they had, the family had, how the land got separated, and often the Bible as gives those on thereupon. On thereupon which, upon it, come her. Come her is the potion of the Austin. The Austin. Austin is a word for the heavens, the Austin. Not just the heavens, but the motions of heavens is the Austin. Come her is the potion of the Austin. And so this is just the come her, Ra, her, the sun, come her, the potion of the Austin. And to write down, pose, and make a word of the Austin. And that's how this starts here. And so these aren't people, but these are times. And this isn't pronounced N-O. I believe it's just the N-H, as in it would be pronounced like a single N, in the first vowel, A, N. And so I was telling you that it was looking like the procession of equinoxes, making the astrology not line up. And so this starts with Y, as in how or who, and Hein, H-I-N-H, and how Hein of in, they usually say this is sons. And how Hein of in comes emotion. And so they get in this 100 here from a set of legs. You have a set of legs that's the let that's going away, and you have a set of legs that comes. And this is a moat, circle around a moat and the sun, and comes emotion. And so they're getting this 100 from this Egyptian number for 100. It's a motion. Looks like a tornado. Looks like you pulled the drain on the tub there. And they call it the sin, or the sin T. And it looks more like this comes from 40. And the sin is the 2, same as in the Hebrew. And the 6. And the dime looks like it could be backwards. And 2 dimes, backwards, T-U-D, 2 dime. And why Hein of in comes motion. And willed is everybody that you beget, they're going in your will. And that's why, who will, and who willed in. Who got left all of it. Why Wilden. And who Wilden at come what if. And so, what if, that's the crown of thought. That's your thinking hat. It's, what if, if you want to have somebody knocked off, you say, well, what if they was to fall down the steps, And it means to give it a thought. How would we plan this? And what if? Why Heinevin comes motion? Who willed know it some at come? What if? What if I was to be left my dad's boat? And then it doesn't say anything about Shem, Ham, and Japheth for a while. It goes into this story of the wickedness of man, so it seems like this would be what he's thinking, what if? And then it doesn't get back to Noah till the 8th line. And it's when commits on, this is Noah backwards here. And when H, commits. And when commits on voying you. When commits on watching you. And so it's going to be explaining what he's seeing down here, not what he heard. And all it willed it, none of his, its stiffdom. And all it willed it, none of his, its stiffdom. Him high and dirty, what hail 'em, the talking. Anybody that's high in the dirty, what hail 'em, they're getting stiffed, not in the will. And all it willed it, none of his, it's stiffdom, him high and dirty, what hail 'em, the talking. And so, the high in dirt, that's a family that owned a place for a long time. They got a lot of dirt on that place. It builds a big mound up. They got the high dirt, the high in dirt. So it's not just generations, but it's the high class, the high in dirt. What hail 'em, the talking. And so to walk with God, that's when you talking nasty and hail 'em. What hail 'em talking. And so it's also, the dirty air, the cities. And then here's Shem, Ham, and Japheth here again. And it's different again. You see, it's usually and Ham, but there's no vav here. So it's not what come. Why wielding chisels having 'em at some? Who's got the chisel in their hand and busting rock? And why wielding chisels having 'em at some? At come what if? And what if you don't get nothing in the wheel and you out there cutting stone the rest of your life? And I don't think it mentions Shem, Ham, and Japheth until they enter the ark, Genesis 7:13, on that very day. But on that very, this is the same word for your bones, when she is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. Bone, essence, substance. And it comes from the word the boxum. And so, the M, that which is from the box. So the bones go in the box. And this is hue, H-I-W. It's the color, and that which is from the hue. And that which is from the box, that which is from the hue. So that means white and ease. And the whiteys. And boxum huum mees, bona wasum, bona is in bona fide, good credentials. And the whiteys bonum wasum, and witchum whipped. You see, it's got a different spelling. You could just use the vav for and, or the and at they used before that they never give a meaning to. And so you don't see the difference when it says this. You think it's written the same. Witchum whipped, ben in who astin, and whose list. You on my list. So the list, is the cargo on the ship. And the list in sievin, and what'em all it be. And so this isn't the ark here. This is talking about whatever was talking before. Then it doesn't talk about them again till Genesis 9 and the sons of Noah that went out of the ark, Shem and Ham and Japheth. And Ham was the father of Canaan. Oh, Witchem. Witchem was the father. And it's, why hue. And it's a playing on the word, who and hue, the color. And the color been in he, it's same in, the double N turned into the I-N. And it's same in it be. Why hue been in he, it's same in it the vessel, in fillum, that's the boat, and filled up in vessum, or the person in vessum. Witchem whipped, Witchem who, and avi, and ken on. And so this is the word of Vic, to kick them out, of vicking on, and not this. They're trying to get exit out of here. And why Hugh been in he, it's same in it vessum, Witchem whipped, Witchem who of vickin, and whipping them out the door. So the next time it brings up their name is after Canaan comes out of Noah's tent, which is actually a castle, into K-A-E-K-E-S-L, castle. And where come a vickin on at whore what of you, your daughter, the whore what of you. Who cuddles in Yachu, bitch what's, who cuddles in your brothers in the stars, bitch what's. And why fucks them whipped, this is your wife, W-I-Q-H, the wife, and the wife is Y is who you fuck, whoever you laid up with, that's your wife, and wifesome, and who fucks them, whipped it, ism loosum, and a garment and laid it on the shoulders, and whipped it is a loosum, when before you give somebody a beating, you rip their garment off. Who fucks them, whipped it, ism loosum, and all's come sign 'em, a whilst to, a whilst is to shrink back, when they went back, come from this LK here. It's the let and the lack and backwards. All the messengers and the angels just that are the lack. And whilst, and a churn it, and a churn it, and turn it. Not just churn it, but backwards, a churn it, and a churn it. Who kiss what whore what of them? Who kiss what whore of them, of the Father make them. Upon 'em, upon ye mature in it. Upon ye mature in it, backwards. You turn your clock backwards, and the time, upon ye mature. You mature into the clock. And so what it's saying is when they reset the astrology, they set it backwards so they could mature into it. So they wouldn't have to change it again so quickly. It would mature in. And upon ye mature in it, war what of he, them, allure of, old tale, the war what he of lore of. And the next time it comes up, they're all separated. You got Shem and Canaan, be the servant to him, and Japhet, may he dwell in the tents of Shem, and maybe Canaan the servant. And so Canaan is, a writing. The writing's the log of time, a canon, and will be the servant. And the next time it comes up in the top of 10, and all it willed it, is the wallet, W-A-L-E-T, the money willed it. And all it willed it, been in hasm come, whipped. Who willed Willem? Ones that were willed. Who willed Willem? Been a mature in will. Been a mature them in will. It's going to mature, going to add value. So you're saying that don't prove Noah was a Nazi? But yeah, it's all the way through here. It's all hidden in the animals and in the creation of the ark. And so willed, it's more of your DNA that you left. Because you can see that, the sons of God, the Benjali, the largest population on earth, the Benjali, all been what? Where they been? All been what? My daughters. And all been what had them. And willed to. And so all of their children took their qualities, or willed to of them. And Hema, the blood, the giver, the giver of the blood, ashore from Olam. This is an owl. It's the M on both sides, and that's the symbol in Egypt. The owl is the M, and it means the land of Mu, and from the old language. That would read as M, owl, M, or 3 M's, which is the third vowel, which is Mu. And the giver, him ashore, the old man sea. The story of the old man sea-ism. But when Noah found grace in the eyes of God, it was because, his sons and his wife was of in the sea, the CWASTK. They were in swastik. And they believed that, man should be a male and his female. In a swasta, a male and his female. You see this spelled all different ways, his wife and his female, but here in this story, it's a swastu. And if you look over at the list of words here, this word number 802, there's a whole bunch of words that mean wife, all spelled different ways, M's and N's. And so they're all different. Everybody has their own sign. And so looked God upon the earth, and indeed it was corrupt, for it had corrupted all the flesh their way on the earth. They just wasn't acting right. And so God gave Noah instructions to build the swastika. And so God told Noah, and make for yourself an ark of wood gopher. And so nobody knows what this gopher wood is. They ain't got a clue. But if you look over here in the Greek translation, it says, make then for yourself an ark from a zulon. And zulon is a cross. A zulon. Anything made of wood, a piece of wood, a club, a staff, the trunk of a tree, used to support the crossbar on a crucifixion, which is a crock, because they would have come up with another word instead of just said a piece of wood when hanging him on a cross. There had to be a term for the Zulon, the Zulu, fastened in stocks, the Zulon. Everyone who hangs in a tree, the Zulu, and on the cross is the Zulon. So he says, make for yourself a cross and tetragon, 4 corners, compartments nested. And that comes from your word teeterage. If you got 3 legs on a stool, it's pretty sturdy. You put 4 legs on the stool and it's going to teeter. And the teeterage on. And a cross teeterage on with 4 compartments. And if you replace this Greek X, with your X, it makes better sense. The X will on, the cross will on, to extinguish, to get rid of, to exit out, your ex-wife, and the X will on. It's make for yourself a cross with 4 nested compartments. That would be the early Christian sign. A cross with 4 nested compartments. And that would be the symbol of ace, a man, and wastika. The K on the end means yours, a man and your wife. And that's what that symbolizes, a swastika. And so Noah had 3 sons. that's the sign of the 8 of in. The 8 of in a swastika. 3 sons and your wife in the bed. That's 8 legs. That's the spider. So if you want to wear this early Christian sign, you got to make sure you turn it the right way. When Moses walked upon the 2 men Hebrews were fighting, they were the Nazi, NXI, the Nazi from. And this is the N cross. And it means they weren't sleeping. There's 4 feet and 2 men and Nazis. They're not sleeping. And that means, that's not a Z. That's 2 men when the N cross. And so the covenant was established with the 8. The 8 of in swastika. And that says, and any in deny, and the second N becomes an I. And any in femit, the man with woman qualities, and any in femit, in right, at come what's rock 'em and stone 'em, a hurry come quickly, then kill it quickly. And so that's what's happening to the world today. They've outlawed the sign of the swastika. And so now the Nephilim are regrowing. And it just means, Nephilim, who barrets, Nephilim who barrets, and by mimem, and come a hurry, I can assure you, and can assure I've been a Jolium, and that's the world's biggest population. And you see at the bottom of 6, and Y as a knuckle, CIL, KKL, second K becomes an I, and Y as knuckle, a certswe, and with the fist, Y as knuckle, a certswe, at to all him a conos, that means somebody with lesser than white skin, a conos, a Mexicanos. But you have to remember, this is just in the stage of planning. Why will den at some come? What if we change the law? The law was when the British soldiers were in India, they weren't to have sex with the Indians. So it turned out that they were all having sex with each other. They became Nazis. So they changed that law, and they changed that law where they could have sex. And that's when they spilt the seed in the Benjalium. The sons of Jollies, the sons of God, the Bengalis, Indo-Aryan, the mixture of the Indian and the Aryan people. 166 million of them just in Bangladesh. They're worldwide. And so it appears that, the early Christian sign was the Nazi. That's the N. And Noah was a swastika. And so they got this confused here. But I'm sure I blowed your mind here, and you have to look more into this. They changed so much of the symbols and the language, and people are not understanding the meaning of turning it. But I'm going to cut this off here, and I'll get some more into it later. Good day.